Chuck Lorre, the producer, had asked me, said he would try to get another cameo for me, but I guess so much else has been going on. You know, he also does that thing with Sheen, brother-in-law or something. But yeah, and I'd love to do, and I want you all to write a lot of mail to this guy. I want to do another cameo on his show, too.
And are you going to be on the final season of Chuck?
I'm going to be on the final season of Chuck. Which Chuck?
I'm going to take that to no.
Know any show called Chuck?
All right, I'm moving right along.
It's drive me crazy. Have I been on it? I haven't done any on Chuck. Well, I was trying to think, is there a show I was on called Chuck? It's not nice of you to confuse a guy. Without my shirt, you mustn't confuse me.
Stan Lee, last year I thanked you for all the characters you created. This year I have to make a confession. There is one character above all heroes that I like more than your Marvel superheroes. And that is Fat Mama.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, from the show, Who Wants to Be a Superhero?
Yeah.
Well, she was pretty good. I have no problem with that.
Back then, I asked a question, and you said you would take the idea back that was mentioned in it to, quote-unquote, the boys in the office. And
I would take the idea back.
Did he have an idea last year for a character?
For a team of superheroes with disabilities like autism and Down syndrome. And I was wondering, what happened?
Team of superheroes, what?
Who had disabilities like autism and other things? You mentioned in the last time.
Obviously, you know, when you do anything like this, excuse me, you have to get somebody to pay to print and publish it. I came up with the idea and I suggested it to a few people, but it fell on deaf ears. Nobody wanted to finance it. So at the moment, it's nowhere. And I'm
Well, it's
sorry.
good to know that it exists.
Thank you.
We have, you can do a team, you can do one handicapped person like Daredevil. You do it in a certain way. And frankly, I'm working on another character now that might be put in that category. But somehow a whole team of them, it just seemed to scare the people who pay for these things. And I have not been able to get that idea across. Sorry.
How did it feel to see your comics turned into live-action movies?
Oh, you know the best thing about it? All those great directors and producers and special effects men and actors, they do all the work, and I get so much of the credit. It's a wonderful arrangement. But to answer your question, it feels great. It really does. Years ago, when we were doing these characters, never in a million years would we have thought that they'd ever be on the screen. I mean, we just hoped the books would sell and we'd keep our jobs. So it's been quite a ride for us.
I just have to say, it is an incredible honor to be in your presence, Stan. I'm one of the many fans who grew up with your comic books, with your TV shows, movies, everything. There was one show that I actually really enjoyed as much as everybody put it down. I was honestly curious if you ever planned on making a new season of Who Wants to Be a Superhero, because I'd love to be on that show.
is gone. You know what happened? It didn't do that well in this country. They loved it in England. So they tried to produce it with teenagers. The same idea. They called it Who Wants to Be a Superhero, but with teenagers. And it really didn't work there either. So it's been given up. But I have a new show you may have heard of called Stanley's Superhumans. And that one looks like it's going to be a big hit. It's on the History Channel. They didn't think much of it, I think, in the first season. They didn't promote it. But then they realized it was getting great ratings. So now for the second season, which will start in the fall, they're going to do all kind of publicity and promotion, and I think it's going to be a great show. So it'll take the place of Who Wants to Be a Superhero, maybe.
Well, I just wanted to say, if you ever do decide to make a new season, I'd love to be on that show. It's okay.
And in case you forgot, the name is Stanley's Superhumans. History Channel, don't miss it, I'll be checking on you.
Hi, Stan. I wanted to talk about, like, I'm a big fan of this little phenomenon called Japanese anime. And
Yeah.
you have something for that called Hero Man. I was wondering, where did you come up with the very, very original title? And do you think it was a success in Japan and they got a simulcast here, or do you think we'll do other things like this? You also had a cameo on that.
I heard most of it, but not all. Where did I come up with?
Where do you come up with the name, and how do you think it was a success?
Which name? Hero Man? You do not feel that that's the most sophisticated title. I detect that in your tone of voice. I thought that the Japanese persons would like the title, and apparently they did. And I was doing it for a Japanese company, so I wanted to make them happy. They liked the name Hero Man. And what was the other one? It was successful, and we're in the process now of seeing about selling it in this country, so you'll be seeing it here. But about me being happy with it, I'm never happy with anything that anybody else does. I always feel it should have been done this way or that way. It's done very much in the Japanese style, which is a good style, and it's good for the Japanese. But I think I would have made a few changes in it. But it's still a good show. And when it comes over here, I think I'll be able to make the changes I want, so it'll be good for the audience here. But they did a good job, and they like it in Japan. And you're not supposed to say, I don't know why.
I actually like this show, so thank you very much.
Okay, and you're a great human being creating that last phrase.
I have a quick question. I've studied humanities and sociology for a long time, and I've been wondering, a lot of your comics, especially like say X-Men, things like that, they tackle very big issues. Usually big issues that concern civil rights, the treatment of others and things like that. I was wondering if at all were those like major roles or they really, I guess, surmounted or they built up that those roles or those characters, like X-Men, let's say for that. Would you say that civil rights or things such as that, equalities, things like that, were major drives in making it?
Can you summarize that? Yeah. No, it's the funniest thing. I hear the voice, and I hear, could you say that, and that's what it sounds like. It's this damn microphone. If somebody talks to me, not with the mic, it's clear to me, but this does something in my ears that it muffles everything. Anyway, you're not interested in my ailments, so. Secondarily, the first thing I would ever think of is what can I write, what can I come up with that people will be interested in? What kind of superpowers can I get that people would care about? And how do I make the characters the kind of characters that a reader can relate to? Once that's established, then you say to yourself, okay, what kind of stories am I going to tell? Where can I get a good villain, which is as important or more important than the heroes? You have to have great villains. And then you start to write the story, and you say to yourself, well, gosh, here are these good guys, and nobody likes them, and they're really doing the best they can, but people hate them because they're different. And I thought to myself, that really reflects on society, where people hate other people because they have a different religion, or they're from a different nationality, or because a blonde hates a redhead, or who knows why. Anybody who's different. And I thought that would be a good thing to play up in the series, but when I shouldn't say play up, to mention, to add in the series, but not hit anybody over the head with it. So I tried to make it a theme that any thinking person might be aware of it, without making it seem as though the stories are lectures, because nobody likes to be lectured to. In fact, I can see how bored you're all getting now, because I'm talking and lecturing, and that's not my promise.
Thank you.
Okay, it was nice. Good night.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm really short, sorry. This question is actually coming from myself and my 14-year-old nephew, Kylie, who could not be here.
It's important that we know who the question is coming from. What is your nephew's name?
Kylie Kellerman.
Okay, continue.
Okay. He has a question, and it started to, go in my mind. What is the Spider-Man comic book that stands out the most in your mind out of all the comic books that you have made, and why?
Well, I heard that whole thing. I see it. People are females, they have a higher
What you're saying is that you can hear females, but not males. That's interesting to me.
That's right. You didn't think this was turning into a medical conclave, did you? Anyway, I don't have one story that stands out in my mind, but it's funny, there's one cover that does. And my favorite Spider-Man cover is when he decided to stop being Spider-Man, and I think we called it, the name of it was Spider-Man No More, and it shows him in his civilian clothes walking away from the reader in an alley, and there's a garbage pail, a trash can, and his Spider-Man costume is draped over the trash can. And I asked John Romita to draw something like that, and I think what he drew was a masterpiece. And strangely, every time I think of Spider-Man, that's the cover I think of. So maybe that, I don't even remember the story that well, but maybe that's my favorite story because of the cover.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you need a drink and shut up a while and let you do something. This is the nicest guy. He is so tolerant. I wouldn't stand anybody being like that in ours. At least you're perfect. That's what I mean, you're tolerant.
But who inspired you to come up with the Hulk, and how did you come up with him?
I really am not a guy who gets inspirations. Some people imagine sometimes writers walk in the street and suddenly, I've got an inspiration. I'm going to get inspirations. Somebody says, we need a new story, so I go home and I sit and I scratch my head and I try to think of one. With the Hulk, we had already done Spider-Man, and I think we had done X-Men. I think the Hulk might have been third, I'm not sure. But we needed something else. And I said what everybody says, what can I do that's different?